Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to Chan Academy, and this is a first video for advanced algebra. We're just going to go over two problems from your homework, or for your homework, and the first one would be multiplying, and this is multiplying a binomial and a trinomial. Most people just call them multiplying two polynomials. It's just, any amount of things inside here times any amount of things inside here, and that's going to give me multiplying polynomials. So here's a binomial and a trinomial. And the way that we learned to do it in class, in case you guys forgot, is we're going to go ahead and use the area model. And to do that, we just make an area of a rectangle. So on the left, I will put x plus 2. Okay. And on the top, I'm going to put x squared plus 3x minus 1. Alright, so I kind of forgot my joke already, but this is my joke of the day, and it's, what do you call friends that love algebra? Algebros. I don't know. That's not that funny, but I'm trying my hardest here. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this up. I have an area model, and now I just need to multiply each part, right? So I can multiply this section, which is an x, and this section, which is an x squared, and that's going to give me x to the third power. Okay, and I'm going to multiply x with 3x, and that'll give me the area of this rectangle. It gives me 3x squared. X times negative 1 gives me negative x. Okay, x squared times 2 gives me 2x squared. And 2 times 3x gives me 6x. And 2 times negative 1 gives me negative 2. Alright, so I have the area of each individual rectangle within this giant rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and add everything on the inside together. And what you can see here is actually that things kind of string together nicely. You have your x to the third degree here. Then you're going to have your x squares here. And I'm trying not to erase anything here. And then you have your regular x's here, your x to the first degree, and then you just have your constants here. Alright, so let's go ahead and add it all together. I have x to the third power plus 3x squared. And if you guys ever get mad at my writing, I'm sorry, I'm using a mouse. And then you also add 2x squared and then I'm going to have 6x minus x and minus 2. Alright, so now I can combine like terms. So things that are in common are right here and right here. So I'm going to get x to the third power plus 5x squared plus 5x minus 2. Okay, and there is your solution. Okay, so when you multiply those two things together, you get this as your answer. And it's kind of one of those fundamental things, is that we really need to be able to do this to do most things in advanced algebra. Alright, now the second thing that's important is to reverse it. Alright, like take something like x to the third plus 5x squared plus 5x minus 2 and go back the other way. And we already talked about this a little bit in class. This is just more review, is that we need to be able to go backwards. And the trick for that is x box factoring. Now I always start off by making my x, and I also make the box. Alright, now what we're essentially doing is we're going to take this and figure out what the factors are. What two things did I multiply? What two polynomials did I multiply to get 2x squared minus 3x minus 2? So the first thing we do is, let me go ahead and fill in my x box a little nicer. There's my box. This is the area model similar to this one. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in my x, and that's going to be 2x squared times negative 2. Okay, now that gives me negative 4x squared. Okay, and then on the bottom I have negative 3x. I'm going to put that down here. Alright, so I need two numbers that multiply and give me negative 4x squared, and two numbers that add together and give me negative 3. Okay, so if you're thinking about it, it should be negative 4x and positive 1x. Is it true that these two multiply and give you negative 4x squared? Yes, it is. Alright, add these two together. Do I get negative 3x? Yep. So there we go. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these two and I can place them within the box. Okay, I can choose either here or here. Doesn't matter what order I put it. I could put negative 4x in the bottom left or the top right. It doesn't make a difference. Another way I think about it is if I took a regular rectangle, any rectangle, and I flipped it 90 degrees, right, and now it's standing vertically, has it really changed? No. So same thing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put those in. We got negative 4x here. I'll just put it here, and that means I have to put the positive 1x right here. Okay, now other things are I need that top left corner. That top left corner is going to be 2x squared, and that bottom right hand corner right here is going to be negative 2. Now you can notice from the previous example that you see this negative 2 here, it doesn't really change, right? Negative 2, negative 2. X to the third, x to the third. Those are always right there. Same thing with this 2x squared and this negative 2. You can take it right from the original. Alright, so now I just need to figure out the height and the width of this thing. So I'm going to look left to right first, okay? It's up to you which direction you feel like looking first. I normally like to look left to right. So what's the greatest common factor? What is something that is in common between these two things, 2x squared and 1x? Well, the first thing you notice is that an x is in common. And as far as a constant, well, this has a 2 and this has a 1. The only thing in common is a 1. So now you have to think about it. 1x times what gives me 2x squared? Well, that has to be a 2x. Right? Now these two multiply and give me 2x squared. Alright, 2x times what gives me negative 4x? Well, that's negative 2. Okay. Now I have that, so I can check 1x times what gives me 1x? Well, just 1. And that's a positive 1. Alright, so now I have it all solved. I have x minus 2, which is really the same thing as 1x minus 2. And the other binomial would be 2x plus 1. Okay, so that is your solution for problem B. Alright, so I've gone over the answers, and typically this is how it's going to work with Chan Academy for the rest of the year. Is I normally make it about 8 to 10 minutes, 2 problems that we've already kind of focused on in class, but if you need a refresher, you can go back to YouTube and listen to me just talk it over again. And you can always just, reverse and rewind and then make sure you understand a step. I'm going to leave this video up, and I'm also going to put a little caption to some part of this corner. And you can also look up videos that I made last year for my Algebra 1, and that is, I'll probably find one for the rational expressions as well. So, most of the things in our homework were already covered. You have your notes to look at that we did in class. So, many different ways to make sure you guys do your homework and understand your homework, because ultimately, just like I said with the first day of class, there is no math brain. We're just all working, right? If everybody works hard and believes that they can do well, then we can do well. And I just want the best for you guys. I hope you guys had a good weekend, and I'll see you guys in class.